Small business is a big deal, accounting for about 76% of private sector employment in Canada. There are enormous opportunities to address the complexities of Canada's tax and regulatory environment and help Canada's small business sector. However, the interests of our universities and regulated professions have increasingly become a barrier for those who wish to exploit those opportunities.
In Canada, businesses are overwhelmingly very small. Depending on how you define small business, there could be 3.8 million small businesses in Canada, averaging just 2.8 workers per business. Or you could say there are about 2.6 million self-employed workers and 1.2 million small employer businesses averaging just 7 workers each. No matter how you slice it or define it, most Canadian businesses are very small. In spite of this, they are very important. Together, they account for 76% of all private sector employment.
Many policymakers don't take small business seriously. Statistics Canada refers disparagingly to what they call micro-businesses with fewer than 5 employees. This is pretty hard to understand, particularly since there are only about 25,000 businesses with 100 or more workers, and together they employ less than a quarter of all private sector workers. The leadership of the accounting services industry is focused almost exclusively on large and medium-sized businesses. The universities that provide undergraduate training for new aspiring accountants are even larger than the top 10 CPA firms. Since their origins in the Middle Ages, Western universities have always combined vocational training and what they like to call critical thinking skills. However, critical thinking really means developing curricula that meet the needs of their sponsors. For business schools, that means large, international businesses and global accounting firms. It is inevitable that scholars focus on issues that resonate with these large organizations. After all, it is these large employers that drive university enrollments and pay for research. And global accounting firms ensure students working for small firms won't meet the practical experience requirements developed by accounting regulators.
According to billionaire venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, we're heading into a world where a massive flat-screen TV costs $100, and a 4-year college degree costs $1 million, and nobody has anything even resembling a proposal on how to systemically fix this. Why? Universities, healthcare, and many other sectors are heavily regulated, controlled and bottlenecked by the government and by the industries themselves. The industries are monopolies, oligopolies, or cartels, with extensive formal government regulation as well as regulatory capture, Soviet-style price setting, occupational licensing, and every other barrier to improvement and change you can possibly imagine.
According to a 2018 article in the Harvard Business Review, in the 1950s, approximately 5% of American workers had an occupational license. Each of these workers had completed post-secondary training and passed an exam to earn a license to practice their profession. Today, the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that 23% of full-time workers have a license.
Universities throughout the world have expanded to meet the demand for these new and emerging professions. The professions seek the prestige and stature conferred on their trade by the descendants of the first medieval universities in Europe. In our so-called information age, universities have expanded on an industrial scale. While the study of the sciences has unquestionably benefited society, we are concerned that the study of the liberal arts has not done much to improve our critical thinking abilities. It isn't that the social sciences aren't important. It is simply that the social sciences are not sciences. Scholars in the various social sciences too often protect their work from attack. Neoliberal economists fight behavioral economists and Keynesians. In anthropology, those that favor the Clovis first hypothesis savagely attack those who discover older archaeological sites that put their Clovis first theories at risk. Studying introductory economics, anthropology, or sociology at university does very little to encourage critical thought. It primarily serves to indoctrinate students in the conventional wisdom common in their chosen profession. In my profession of accounting, neoliberal economics holds sway. It forms part of what I call business school orthodoxy.
The partnership between business schools and the professions has real benefits for both parties. But does an investment in an undergraduate degree really pay off for students? Universities and professions are highly regulated. How does introductory economics, with basic principles like supply and demand in free markets, encourage critical thought in students? Statistics is a key subject in business school. Ostensibly, statistics is important for the audits of very large companies that require statistical sampling. But audits of any kind are relatively rare in the small business sector. They're just too expensive. If statistics were an important skill for accountants, how is it that the CPA BC website overstates median incomes of BC's CPA members by between 70 and 80%? Is that the result of advanced university research in corporate ethics? More likely, though, it's simply the result of what Ayn Rand would call enlightened self-interest on the part of our regulatory body. At SBA Canada, we believe that our training should be focused on the needs of employees, practitioners, and the businesses that they serve. Like chartered accountants in Scotland and their counterparts in England and Wales, we believe that an undergraduate degree should merely be a personal choice, and not a requirement, for a rewarding career as an accounting technician or a professional accountant.